Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, I am going to explain Git Submodules. And you know why this matters? Most teams struggle when they need to share code between projects, often resorting to copying and pasting files or creating messy, unversioned dependencies. Getting this wrong leads to version drift, where different parts of your system are out of sync, causing bugs that are impossible to reproduce. I am going to show you exactly how to use submodules correctly so you can manage your dependencies without losing your sanity. So what is the real problem here exactly? Imagine you are working on a core library that 5 different microservices use. If you don't have a way to link that library as a specific version, you are forced to either publish it to a private package registry, which adds massive overhead, or manually copy the files into every service. When a bug is fixed in the library, you have to manually update every single project. It is tedious, error-prone, and guaranteed to cause deployment failures. That is exactly the pain point we are solving. So what is a Git submodule? Really, it is a feature that allows you to keep a Git repository as a subdirectory of another Git repository. It is like having a bookmark in a book that points to a specific page in a different book. If the author updates the second book, your bookmark stays right where you put it until you explicitly decide to move it. This gives you granular control over dependencies, ensuring that your project stays locked to a specific stable version of external code. Before we get into the technical steps, let's make sure you are set up correctly. You need to be running a modern operating system like Windows 10 or 11, Mac OS 13 or newer, or Ubuntu 22.04 LTS. Ensure you have Git version 2.25 or newer installed. You can check this by typing Git version in your terminal. If you don't have it, go to the official Git website and download the latest installer. You also need a terminal window open if you are on Windows. I highly recommend using Git Bash, which comes with the Git for Windows installation. Finally, make sure you have access to a remote repository host, as we will be linking 2 separate repositories together. Let's look at how this works internally. You have your main repository, which acts as the host. Inside it, you have a file called .git modules that defines the relationship. This file doesn't hold the code itself. Instead, it creates a submodule pointer. This pointer is essentially a reference to a specific commit hash in the external repository. The main repo only knows about that commit hash. It doesn't know about the branches or the history of the external repo, just that specific snapshot in time. This is why it is so stable. Unless you update the pointer, the code never changes, even if the external repository is updated. To add a submodule, you use the Git Submodule add command. Here, we are adding the shared utils repository into a folder named libs or shared utils. Notice that we are specifying the full URL of the repository and the destination path. Once you run this, Git clones the repository into that folder and automatically creates the .git modules configuration file for you. Let's see what the output looks like when this finishes. You should see that Git has successfully cloned the repository and staged 2 new files, the egit modules file and the submodule directory itself. If you run git status, Git will show you these changes. This confirms that the link has been created and is ready to be committed to your main repository's history. Perfect. Now, what happens when you need to update that dependency? You navigate into the submodule directory just like a normal Git repository. You can check out a new tag or a specific commit as we are doing here with v1.2.0. Once you move the submodule to the new version, you need to go back to the main repository and commit the pointer change. If you don't commit the change in the main repo, your teammates won't see the update when they pull your changes. This is a common step that people miss, so keep it in mind. The output shows the main repository recording the new commit hash for the submodule directory. This ensures that everyone else on your team, when they pull this commit, will automatically be pointed to v1.2.2 of the shared library. This level of precision is exactly why senior engineers prefer submodules for critical dependencies. In a production environment, like when you are setting up a build server or a new developer machine, you don't want to forget the submodules. If you just run a standard git clone, the submodule directory will be empty. You must use the recursive flag. This tells Git to automatically initialize and clone all submodules found in the project. If you have already cloned the repository, you can run the second command to fetch the submodule contents. Without this, your build will fail immediately because the dependency folder will be empty. The output confirms that Git registered the submodule and checked out the specific commit we committed earlier. Now, your build environment is perfectly synchronized with your development environment. This is exactly what you want to see when you are deploying to production. Let's talk about a real-world scenario. Think of a logistics company tracking thousands of trucks. They had a shared map engine used by their driver app and their dispatch portal. Without submodules, a change in the map engine would sometimes break the mobile app while the web portal was fine. By using submodules, they locked the mobile apps to version 2.0 of the map engine while the web portal moved to 2.0. This allowed them to test the new features in the web portal for a week before pushing the mobile update. They saw a 40% drop in production crashes, which is massive. One of the most common mistakes is the detached head state. When you enter a submodule directory, Git often puts you into a detached state because the submodule is pinned to a commit, not a moving branch. If you try to make changes here and commit them, you might lose them if you aren't careful. The fix is to explicitly check out a branch if you intend to work on it, or simply realize that you are in a pinned state by design. Always check your branch status when entering a submodule folder. So why use them? First, they are built into Git, so there are no external tools to manage. Second, they provide atomic commits. When you commit a change in your main repository that includes a submodule update, that commit represents the exact state of your entire system. If you ever need to revert to a state from 6 months ago, Git restores the submodule to the exact version it was at that time, which is incredibly powerful for debugging. How do they compare to alternatives? Git Subtrees are the main alternative. Subtrees actually merge the dependency code into your repo, which means you don't have to deal with the submodule pointer complexity, but it makes updating the dependency much harder because the history gets mixed. Then you have package managers like npm or Maven. These are better for libraries you publish, but for internal code that is under active development, submodules are often the faster, more direct choice. So when should you actually use them? Use submodules when you have multiple projects that share a large private library and you don't want the overhead of a private package server. They are also perfect when you need strict version control over dependencies for stability. But do not use them if your team is new to Git. The learning curve is steep, and if someone doesn't understand how to pull updates, they will get confused. Also, don't use them for small scripts that change every day. That is just unnecessary complexity. Use these criteria to decide if this tool is right for your situation. To wrap this up, remember these key points. Submodules are just pointers to specific commits, which is why they are so stable. Always remember to use the recursive flag when cloning so you don't end up with empty folders. When you update a submodule, you must commit that pointer update in the main repository. Otherwise, the update is effectively invisible to your team. Submodules are the best way to handle private dependencies without setting up a private package registry. And finally, treat those submodule folders as independent Git repositories. You can run git branch and git log inside them just like anywhere else. This has been a deep dive into Git submodules, and I hope this clears up the confusion. These are the core concepts to carry forward from this video. I believe this video will definitely be a useful video. If you like the video, please do like and hype the video. Also share it with your friends and groups. It may be useful to somebody else. If you have any doubts or any requests, please let me know in the comments. Make sure you have subscribed to stay updated for our regular videos. Join our WhatsApp community using the link in the description because we share more knowledgeable content every day. Thank you for watching. See you soon in the next video.